What's going on, guys? It's Joe and welcome back to the channel. Now today I'm going to bring you another video about Project WetBox. So I'm going to talk about two things. I'm going to talk about my initial reactions and my initial impressions and everything before and after I built Project WetBox, because I've gotten a lot of reactions, a lot of positive stuff too. And number two, I'm going to talk about how everything's been performing, temp wise especially, with Project WetBox. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the video. Okay, so let's talk about the initial impressions of Project WetBox. Now, the thing about Project WetBox that I like the most, obviously, it's going to have to be the case. The case is pretty nice. It was sent to me by entities, and I've been working with them a lot on different projects and stuff like that, and reviewing some of their products. They're gracious enough to send me an all-white entities AI Crystal Cube. As you all may have seen before, my case was previously black, but I actually took and I painted the front of the case. I painted this front part red at one point, and then I switched it to white because I pretty much became set on having a black and white build. So yeah, that's why I chose this particular case. I loved the case at first, and I wanted to do a custom build inside of it that would accentuate my whole entire setup that you see here. It accentuate everything. So excuse that random cup, I was drinking something. Anyway, let's move on to the components. Now, as you can see, I have the Intermax Neo Changer. A very, very good, very, very nice pump res combo. It's something that was also sent to me by Intermax. I definitely like it. I like it a whole lot, actually. It has different speeds on it. It can go from 1500 all the way up to about 4500 RPM. Right now I had it set at the lowest. It doesn't really need to be pushed any higher right now because I'm not doing anything major. I'm not taxing the CPU or anything. It does have an RGB ring around it, around the base of it, as you can see right there. And it's pretty nice. It's really, really bright. And also you can adjust the brightness of it, and I'll show you all that right now. You can actually turn it down. You can change the different colors and stuff like that. And you can have it fading and all kind of different effects and everything. But through any one of those stages, you can actually turn the brightness down or you can turn it up. So I'll just leave mine on white for right now because it goes with my build. Next, we have the XFX RX 480 graphics card. It's the 8GB, the RS version. I wanted to paint that shroud white. I've been wanting to paint it white for quite some time, and I finally was able to get the chance to do it. Turned out really good, and those LED fans definitely do the job. They bring out the build a whole lot more instead of some black basic looking fans. And to go with everything else, now let's talk about the CPU block that I chose. I chose the Thermaltake Pacific. Let me see if I can get this in focus. The Thermaltake Pacific RGB CPU block. It's the W4. Now I chose that because I wanted something that's gonna fill up that whole entire little area right there next to the RAM, the whole entire CPU plate area. And I didn't want like a regular square water block. I wanted something that was different, and this was as different as they came. And it does have RGB. It's pretty nice. It's not as bright as I thought it would be, but I mean, I've heard those complaints about things like that online, and I don't care. I just wanted the RGB functionality and something different. So yeah, that's that. Obviously I got the Corsair Vengeance LED RAM. Let's move around up here. Okay, so I got the fittings. It came from XSPC. They came from XSPC, and they came from Thermaltake also. I got XSPC right angle connectors right now because Thermaltake's was pretty expensive, and I didn't feel like paying all that money for theirs. But then I got the Thermaltake RGB fittings right here, the LED fittings, and I got 6 of them total. As you can see back up in there, you see the light, the LEDs coming straight through the tubing and everything like that. And everything looks good. It definitely is cohesive and everything. I got 2 more back up in there, one hidden behind this glass, tempered glass sticker, and one back there, and I got 1 more back behind, tucked in back behind there. So yeah, it's a lot of fittings and a lot of RGB and LEDs up in this thing. I do have one LED strip. That one particular LED strip actually sits back behind this little area right up in here. Can't even see it, and it just offers like a little subtle lighting that goes that way, and it casts a shadow upon everything this way. Everybody likes that. Everybody's been commenting, asking me how I got that lighting effect, and that's pretty much how I did it. So yeah, the radiator, I went with the XSPC 240mm radiator. Got 2 RGB fans. All the fans in here are the Thermaltake Ring 12 fans. They're not the premium, the TT premiums. Them are the ones I'm actually going to be upgrading to next whenever I get the chance to. But these definitely do the job, and they definitely keep that radiator running nice and smooth and clean. And they pass a lot of air through with static pressure. Like I could feel the air actually coming out the top of this thing. Like it's pretty crazy. Like they're pretty high pressure fans. So the static pressure on them is pretty good. The fans look awesome, you know, while performing their job and everything. And they're pretty impressive fans. Now, one thing I noticed about the whole entire thing has to be this right here. This is going to be the trouble. Now, I say it's going to be trouble because these fans are extremely close, if not touching the actual glass on the front of the case. That being said, there's absolutely almost no airflow coming from the front. Now, more than likely what I'm going to have to do is I'm actually going to have to take these 4 fans off the bracket that come with the case. I'm going to have to take the 4 fans off the bracket and just install 2 of them, 2 120s on this side right here. And I really don't want to do that because I definitely like the look of the 4 fans, but that's just going to be something I have to do. Let's see what else I want to talk about. I think that's really it. I'm gonna be for sure getting some different cables. I want some cable mod cables. The cable mod cables is definitely something that I was looking into. I'm gonna get some for the card, obviously, and I'm gonna get some for the CPU power, for the 24-pin power. I mean, and that's basically it in a nutshell. When it comes down to my impressions on the build, everything turned out almost perfectly. You know, it's a lot better than what I hoped. Now, some of the issues I had while building this, let's talk about those because that's pretty nuts. Now, the fittings were fitting kind of weird. Like the tube, when I cut the tube, they wasn't all the way flush down with the double O-rings that was inside of the fittings. So what I had to do, especially on this particular one right here, this one right here was just a mess. It was horrible. The tube I had that was on it at first, the fitting wasn't flush, and considering that the fitting wasn't flush, I had to completely recut the tubing and everything, which sucked because I actually ran out of tubing and I had to find an old tube that I bent up a little bit and almost straighten it back out. You can't even tell I did it, but I had to straighten it back out just a tad bit to get it to fit all the way on there, and I had to completely change up that run because that run had some curves and some loops and stuff in it, you know, that was pretty advanced. So for it to be my first build, I didn't want to take it that far. Another one that you may or may not notice is this one right here. This one right here was a mess, and it still is a mess. You can probably tell from the video that it's a tad bit crooked and that there's a bubble right up in there, right up in that curve right there. This one right here, right up in there. It's a bubble, big old nasty bubble, but it's actually towards the back of the tube, so you can't really see it, which thank God you can't. So it's not actually level. I don't know if I can bring it around and show you that, but it's not actually level. It's not actually completely level and straight. It's actually crooked a little bit, but from this angle right here, you can't even tell. This is the angle everybody's gonna be looking at it at, and you can't even tell. Only thing you can tell really is that it's not level, you know, from the other side over here. So excuse my old man noises, struggling getting up. But yeah, those are the troubles I've had so far with Project WetBox and getting it actually built. But since I've got it built, I've had it up and running. Everything's been good, guys. Everything's been looking good for me. I'm pretty impressed by the way that it turned out. I love the way it looked. I have played with some lighting effects and everything, but this white, man, this all white is just, it's just awesome. It looks good. Oh, also another problem I had, I don't know if you all can tell, but there are some micro bubbles and stuff inside this Intermax Neo Changer pump res combo. Inside the reservoir there's like little bubbles, and believe me, there was a lot more than that, a whole lot more than that. But over the days it's died down a lot, and I'm still planning on trying to get rid of those somehow. Maybe I have to drain the loop, take the top off, clean it out and everything, but I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. But yeah, in a nutshell, that's it, guys. That's pretty much it. That's Project WetBox right there for you. Alright, so now that we got Project WetBox itself out of the way, and all the complications and everything I had with, with building and everything, let's talk about some temps. So let's go over to my monitor and let's check out some of the temps that I have so far. And it's gonna kind of surprise you because it kind of surprised me too. Now, so far, this is just what it says today since I've actually returned it back on. Now, the temps, for my Ryzen chipset, the minimum so far has been 50C. But man, I've had it way lower than that. It's been at 46C earlier, and I have actual pictures and screenshots to actually prove it. It stayed about 46 to 47C for quite some time, and under load, it's gotten all the way up to about like 70C. But let's talk about the actual temps and what they mean. Now, I have a Ryzen 1600X, and with the X branding on the end of that, it's got a 20-degree offset. So what you see now is actually 20 degrees higher than what the actual temps are. So that 50C that you see right now, that 50C is actually about 30C, if not lower. Now, like I said, I got it all the way down to about 46C, which means it was running at a really, really cool 26C. And that's insanely cool, and it's something that I was definitely not expecting at all. So I'm pretty happy that, I got everything set up the way that I wanted to set up. Now, these are idle temps. Now, I can go ahead and run a stress test real quick, and I can show you all what the temps actually settle down at once I run it. These are temps with the pump running actually at its lowest speed, and with my case fans set to the lowest setting possible. So let's go ahead and ramp everything up to the top speed, and let's come back to the temps. Alright, so I'm back. I've turned everything up full load. As you can see, the Intermax, the Neo Changer pump is sitting on about 4470, 4440. It's hovering back and forth between the two. But you can see that I have it actually going full blast right now. All my case fans are turned completely up. They're turned all the way up. I don't know if you can tell, but they're definitely turned up. And I got this running at full load, and as you can see, temps are pretty much the same. There's not much of a change at all really when it comes to temps. Now, with that being said, a lot of the temps when it comes to water cooling are actually based on the ambient temperature of the room and how your case fans are oriented. Now, well, on the radiator anyways. Now, I actually have my case fans in a weird configuration. I have mine pushing air out from the case through the radiator and out into the room. Now, I'm going to actually be changing that up sometime soon because I wanted to do a push-pull configuration, but there's no way I'll be able to do it because the clearance of my case won't allow for it. So I'm going to actually put the case fans on top of the radiator and attach my fans to the chassis and the radiator to the fan. And that's how it's going to work. It's going to be pulling cool air in from the room into the case instead of rather hot air from the case out through the radiator, keeping those temperatures, a little warmer than they should be. But that's pretty much how the temps have been. Now, I'm pretty glad about that, especially the idle temps, because man, before my temps were all the way in like 60C, close to 60C, and under load they'll be pushing 80, close to 90C. And that's not really where you want it to be at. And that was with an all-in-one. That was with an AIO cooler, which I definitely was expecting it to be running a little cooler than that on water. But with this full custom loop, I got a lot more water running to it, a lot more thermal transfer, and everything seems to be running smooth. So yeah, guys, that's my update on Project WetBox. I'm pretty impressed. You guys tell me what you all think. Now, the temps, they're questionable, but like I said, this is my first run at a custom loop. But so far, I'm definitely impressed for the simple fact that my temps are already much cooler. I love the way everything looks. Everything turned out perfectly fine. Now, despite the fact that I did have some challenges and everything worked out perfect in the end. I've let some companies know, look what I've built. They're talking to me actively to get me more stuff out, to actually build more stuff, and everything's working out, y'all. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and bring this video to a close. If you guys like what you see, drop me a like, Subscribe to my channel, share my videos. This is Joe from Petty Fixes, and I'm out.